Alrighty, I think I'm finally recording. And in today's lecture, number two, we're going to find the slope and uh, write an equation in slope-intercept form. I got to hit play through this. Um, we'll start off with an example. Hope everybody's doing okay. I got this automated, so my timing might be off. So, okay, first off, let's just look at, and I think most of us have seen this before. Find the slope of find the slope of the line through the following points. So we got 2 points. First point is going to be 2, 2. The second point is going to be 4, 5. Um, we will label those points accordingly so that we can use the formula given below. The formula to find slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if you look at how I label those points, look, I just take the first point labeled x1, y1, and x2, y2. The second point that's given, 4, 5, label that x2, y2. Now I'm going to try to move my cursor right here. You guys got to remember, I've seen this before, the first point or first coordinate in the point, that's your x coordinate. Second coordinate in the point is your y coordinate. Okay? So when we look at plugging this in, we'll take our y2, which is 5, minus our y1, which is 2, divided by, remember that little line of mine tells me divide, we have 4 minus 2, which, it's pretty simple math. 5 minus 2, we got 4 minus 2 on the bottom. That gives me 3 over 2. I like the improper fraction, that is the 3 over 2 form of that point. Okay? I think I began circling that, the whole thing. You can write it as a mixed number, but I would stick with the 3 over 2. Remember, slope is rise over run. Rise, y is on top, run, x is on bottom. Okay? So, we found the slope of a line. Let this play through. I think I can do something a little bit easier than that. I'm going to fast forward here. So here's an example. Okay, yeah, I mean, you're going to deal with positive, negative numbers. I'm going to find the slope, do the exact same thing. We got x1, y1, x2, y2. Awesome. So to find slope, use the slope formula. Sorry, my handwriting is very atrocious. So I'll start off now just writing the formula down. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And start plugging and chugging here. So first thing we'll plug in is 4 minus, now pay attention to this part. I'm going to write 4 minus negative 7. Okay, and that's going to happen here at the bottom. X2 is negative 3 minus x1 is also negative 3. Now when you do the math on that, 4 minus negative 7, you'll get 11 on top eventually. And then on the bottom, you get 0. Okay, now there's a problem there. You cannot have 0 on the bottom. I mean, you can, but what's going to happen is if you divide by 0 on a calculator, you're going to get an error. What that means is our slope is going to be undefined. Okay? Guys, at any point in time you need to, you can pause, rewind, go through the same example again. Okay. You'll probably hear me say okay a lot, and I apologize. So now let's look at example 3. I'm going to fast forward it here. I'm going to hit pause. Okay. So this example 3, if you remember from the previous video, we talked about slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. In this particular problem, we got to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form whose slope is 3 and passes through a specific point. Now, one thing I need you to understand is if you have or are given the slope, okay, that's one part of your equation. So that 3 is going to be our m. Now, we can have a ton of lines with that slope. The thing that makes each line different with that same slope is any particular point that it passes through can affect the y-intercept. So if you go back to the slope-intercept form for a line, we have m, we're going to need to find b. So let me fast forward here. So slope-intercept form, slope is m, y-intercept is b. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We got one part of that. When you write an equation in slope-intercept form, m and b are the two things you got to find. Y and x is part of the equation. So, you need to ask yourself, what are we given? And obviously we're given the slope in the problem. And I'll be writing that down. We're given m equals 3. And we're given a point. You probably don't remember that. It's way before your time. A little Doug Funny. So here's what you got to do. We need to use the slope-intercept form. So, ooh, I got a text. I'm popular. I'm going to plug in what I know. So if you look at this, I'm given the slope is 3. And I'm given an x, which is -1. And I'm given a y-coordinate that is +5. Alright, so now think about this. If I plug m into here, x into here, y, the 5 in for the y here, the only thing left is going to be b. And of course I have to say, can we say plug and chug? It is what it is. Duh, says Mr. Seidel. So I'm going to plug and chug those values in. So we got y is 5. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So let me pause right there real quick. So there's that plug and chug. 5. Sorry, I had to turn that off. 5. You got 3, -1. I like to use parentheses here because that's going to mean multiply. And we're basically just going to have to solve for b. How's that going to work out? So now, what? We're going to solve for b. And this will look familiar. Okay, draw my line. let's get b by itself. All right, so I'm going to focus on this area here. Yeah, you can bring that down. But focus in, multiply that out. 3 times -1 is -3. Now we got to do the opposite. Be fair, do both sides. That'll cancel out. And we'll get b equals 8. So now we're going to be able to tie everything in so that we can write our equation. All right. Okay. If you hear a kid in the background, I apologize too. Okay, I got B. Now what? Okay. So let's fast forward a little bit. That's not where I want to be. So we got M. Okay, here it is right here. So I'm tying everything in. Right here's my answer. I'm beginning to form my equation. We got 8 as our B. So I'm going to put 3 in front of the X here. I'm going to hit pause real quick. If you can see it, y equals 3x plus 8. Because 8 was the y-intercept that we found. We were given this for a slope. And that's how we form an equation in slope-intercept form, given that information. Okay? So, what I'm going to challenge you to do, alright, I'm going to pull up pages real quick. And this will be really simple. I'm going to embed your first real problem here. I'm going to hit pause real quick. Okay, I'm back. Here's what I'm going to challenge you to do. And I'm going to give you today, which would be March 18th, and tomorrow I will post this for the 19th as well. But this might give you a head start. This is just find the slope of a line through the following points for 1 through 6. And then 7 through 9, you're going to follow the exact same thing as I demonstrated in this video. So if you have any questions, you're going to have a couple days to do this. That way it gives you plenty of time to soak it in. And, leave comments in the thread. And we'll go from there. Until then, stay healthy and be safe.